The bell's for me, not for you. Today we're going to be reviewing your playing because I've allowed people to give me submissions of their drumming so I can review it and give my advice, my 2 cents for whatever it is worth. So I'm going to take the first few because there are a lot of them. Thank you so much for your submissions, and if you would like to submit your own, check out the link below. If you're new to this channel, then my name is Emma, also known as Sounds Like Emma, also known as Love to Learn Drums, kind of, sort of. It gets a bit confusing, but all you need to know is that I am a drummer slash drum teacher slash internet silly person. But alas, I have been playing drums quite a long time, and therefore I think I can give a little bit of advice. So let's get into it. Christina from the US, exciting stuff. And you want to learn how to play in different time signatures. It is quite an endeavour. So let's see how we're doing first of all, and then I'll give you some advice. Pocket for days. Really nice dynamics. Really nice left foot control as well. So much good stuff going on here. Awesome, amazing. Really good playing, really good playing. I actually have very few notes on that. It's very solid. Technique is really good. You're not overplaying. Not playing too loud, you're playing exactly what's required for that situation, really. Very laid back, very relaxed. Posture seems pretty good. Actually got some left foot work that I don't think I could probably pull off quite as well as that, so that's awesome. So when it comes to playing in different time signatures, I'm going to move over here again and show you. Something like that, isn't it? Oh, tasty stuff. Anyway, I first of all would pick a really dead simple groove. If you know what time signature you want to be, 7 is probably a good place to start. I personally like 7 quite a lot. And when I say 7, I mean 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't start that busy. Pick a really basic groove. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. You want to count out loud, and you want to loop it so much that you start to get a bit of a feel for it and it doesn't feel quite as alien as before. Once you've kind of got over the initial stage of that, putting fills in is the next step, and I would really make that quite a methodical thing. So take, for example, again, 7, make 5, 6 and 7 a fill, and you're going to do 2 8th notes on each. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right left, right left, right left. Right left, right left, right left. Right left, right left, right left. And you can start to build it out from there. Maybe put a little drag before it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It goes on and on and on. You can make it more intense than that, but you have to give yourself a framework that you can loop over and over again. If you have the luxury of having an electric kit like myself, then I suggest having a metronome that can yell at you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Like that, because it can be very easy, especially when you're trying to get into the flow of it, to just revert back to normal time. So I'd give that a go. Who have we got next? We've got Spencer from Canada. He's been playing less than 6 months. So you want help with transitioning from grooves to fills and back in again. Fundamental techniques, improvising. Okay, let's have a look. Interesting. Okay, cool. He says that he has more on his Instagram, so let me have a quick cheeky look. Oh, awesome. There's a video of him playing kind of one of the grooves I've done in one of my lessons. In answer to your question of did I do it, yes, you did do it. So what's going on here? What would I advise you on? I'd say probably dynamics more than anything, but kind of a back step from that. Let's talk about the initial video you sent me, because there's a bit of technical stuff there I'd like to talk about. So something you might be able to do is kind of move your hi-hat perhaps a little bit closer to your snare drum, because right now, because of how your hands are, you're kind of reaching around with that right hand and kind of playing like this, and you're getting a bit of rotation in the spine you might not want. Ideally, we want to be sat so our elbows are relaxed and we're kind of over the top like that, and it takes, you're already doing this anyway, like as you come up for the snare drum, both hands coming up. It can be a little bit tricky to get. You might even potentially be able to get away with dropping your snare drum about an inch. Adjust basically your snare drum height and your hi-hat height. See what works best for you. See if you can bring that hand over the top, because I recognise in other videos you're doing a similar thing. It's just very pronounced here. Another thing I can see is your bass drum foot. If you haven't seen the video I've done on bass drum technique, this might help you out. It's going to be here. But basically you want to drop the weight of your leg through the ball of your foot, and you want to kind of imagine it's quite a springy thing. So if I just scooch back a little bit, you can see here it's quite bouncy, and I'm doing that just bouncing on the ball of my foot, keeping the toes on the pedal. Also, if you want a beefier sounding bass drum, you might want to potentially, I can't fully tell if it's the heads themselves, so you might want to tune it down a little smidge. And also you're burying the beater, which is where the beater of the bass drum stays on the head of the bass drum. Ideally, you want the bass drum head to go boff and kind of rest naturally just off the bass drum, because it allows the bass drum to resonate a bit more. So instead of going poof and you get nothing, you get more of a boom, which is a bit more of what you want, but it depends on what you've got in your bass drum as well. If you haven't got any muffling in it, I suggest you put a pillow or a blanket in it. And if you have already and it sounds like that, you may need to adjust where that blanket / pillow is in the bass drum. If it's pressed up against the heads, then it'll sound very flat. So do a little bit of experimentation with that. In terms of wanting to improvise and stuff like that, again, I'll move over here. My advice would be to keep it simple. Ideally, you want a foot going and then your hands are feeling quite free over the top. So, but how do you get to that? So, first of all, get your bass drum going. And just get 8 notes going over the top. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and bass drum coming down with the right hand. And you can just start. I'm just moving the hands wherever I like. Don't do anything crazy straight out the gate, just get comfortable and don't lose the right hand and the bass drum coming down together. Bring it up the speed a bit once you're comfortable. Play with dynamics. So that's what I do, just to kind of get started with improvising. Okay. Next video. Who we got? We've got... So next up, we've got Delise from Spain. He's been playing 3 years and wants to work on timing and relaxation. So we'll see how tense your playing is, shall we? Oh, classic. Definitely can't play the audio on that. It's Wonderwall. Honestly, I'd say that's really solid. I understand what you're saying about relaxing, because I can tell it's still kind of at the very front of the beat, so it doesn't have that relaxed feel as such, but you're getting everything right and everything is in time. So yes, you are right about the relaxing part. Some of the kind of holds in there where you have a lot of time just open with no click or anything before you have to play the fill, that's really hard to get right. And also when you're actually in the sections, your playing is really solid. If I were your teacher, I'd probably say the next step up for you would be maybe something with some ghost notes, or maybe something with some more intricate fills, because a lot of the fills in here are quite 8th note based. I might try and move things up to something a bit more exciting than that. But timing wise, it is pretty solid. I think it's one of those things that it just needs, you're 3 years in, but it's one of those things that also continues to develop as you develop yourself technically as well. So great job, keep on rocking. Okay, next we have Jeff from the US, and he's been playing 25 years, so he doesn't need me. I'm absolutely a solid drummer, I should hope so after 25 years, for gigs or cover band shows. I just never took lessons, so I find it hard to incorporate new things into my old ways. I could absolutely practice more. I'm not bad, just not great either. Yeah, I get that. I've always wanted to play like my favourite drummer, Mitch Mitchell. Oh! Shall we have a look? Shall we have a look, kids? Let's do it. Vibes. With 16th note grooves like that, again, allow me to demonstrate. You want to practice it with a 16th note metronome. Even if you have the groove down and it feels really solid. I discovered this when I was trying to fix my left hand and do some really intricate ghost note stuff. It feels like you've got it because you've got all the notes in the right order, but it can really help iron out the sloppiness. So again, let me show you. It goes something like this. Something like that. So, chuck on a 16th note metronome. I personally prefer having the numbers yelled at me.
1, 2, 3, and
Not that fast. Not that fast. 1, 2,
1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and
I could feel just then, straight after the fill, it actually took me a while to come back into time with it. It might have been subtle. If you're not a drummer, you probably couldn't hear quite how that went out. But if you've got a bit more of an ear for it, you'll hear that I was ahead of the beat when I came back in after the fill. 16th note metronomes can really help to just tighten all that timing together. So that's a broad technique you can use whenever you're practicing whatever you're practicing. So that is what I'd say for that. Also, you could probably get away with, and I know you're playing this very tastefully and adding a lot of space in the fills, but when you've got the like stabs, I think there was like obviously you have to be tasteful with it, don't use it all the time, but especially when you're going for like the end, gotta spice it up a little bit, spice it up just a smidge. But either way, fantastic playing. Let's move on to the next one. All right, we've got a Brit, a fellow Brit, Alex, who's been playing about 2 years and wants help with fills, timing and speed, or the timing of your fills. It's hard to tell. Either way, let's have a look, shall we?
dab, 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 dab.
Awesome. Okay, hopefully, again, I don't get down for copyright because we've got your guitarist friend there playing Smoke on Water. I think going into an electric guitar amp with an acoustic guitar, which props, that's a vibe. That is a vibe I remember distinctly from early school. So the one thing I'd say, the timing's solid. That's pretty fine. I'd say potentially you might want to, and it's a little hard to tell from here, but with your flams, just make sure they're nice and separated. So obviously not too separated. We don't want 2 separate notes, but we don't want them 2 together either, because that sounds a bit naff. So somewhere in between. Yeah, for fills, I'd just say counting out loud is your friend. And I know it's not very rock and roll, but it will help you so much. Oh, I cannot emphasize how much that will help. So counting out loud is what I recommend for you, my friend. Next up, we've got Joseph from the Congo and Zambia. That's really cool. Playing about 5 years, okay. You're struggling with paradiddles and drum solos. Ooh. Let's have a look, shall we? I'll be the judge of that. We're sideways, excuse me. Nice. Some really yeah, some really solid ballad playing there. Gospel chops. Whoa! My man, you've been playing 5 years and you can play like that. Props to you. Man, that's, yeah, really solid. Don't need me. You don't need me. But in terms of what you're asking about, what you're struggling with, I'd say with paradiddles, there is a knack to them. And again, I shall demonstrate. So your timing is on point, but what you're doing is quite a lot of single stroke stuff, very linear stuff, very kind of gospely stuff. If I can hit the crash. That's, yeah, all decent, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So it seems to me that something kind of introducing doubles a little bit and working on that might be a good idea. But you asked specifically about paradiddles. And the knack with paradiddles, apart from having good single strokes and doubles, would be as you're playing the double, right, left, 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 you're kind of lifting with the other hand to get ready for the next one. I'll go a bit slower. Paradiddles are right, left, left, right, left. And as you're playing the two right, two left, lift with the left. Right, left, lift, lift. Left, right, lift, lift. And they are so useful, especially if you want to spice up grooves. So many things you can do with them. Oh, so much, so much. So that's a small piece of advice I give about that. In terms of drum solos, building upon what I said earlier, I would think about having a motif. So what do I mean by that? A common theme rhythmically that you come back to. Say it's something dead simple as you can build upon that. So, and you want to take people on a journey. So start small, end big. It's pretty basic stuff. So say the motif is do you know what I mean? Something like that, right? And you could just take it from there, but you give yourself a bit of a framework. That might go down as one of the worst drum solos in history, but we'll take it. Next video. Okay, so we've got Rafael, who's in Argentina and has been playing a whopping 28 hours. So let's see. He wants to work on stiffness and see what I can see, basically. So let's have a look. Oh man, you gotta stop giving me the copyright strikes, people. Jesus. Don't worry, I'll still give you my advice. Okay, straight out the gate, the piece of advice I would give you is working with a metronome, especially when it comes to playing fills. Because And it's less about the fill itself. Yes, you want to play the fill in time, but it's about coming back into whatever section you're doing and then still being in time and kind of not freaking out when you get to the end of said fill, because it can be quite easy to do because it's like, it's all exciting. It's all very exciting. Drums are exciting. So when you've got something like dun 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 dun, like on eighth notes, really make sure that is in time. Again, work with a metronome, loop it over and over again, and really get comfortable with how fast that should be. When we're doing build-ups like that, especially when we're using both hands, it really is easy to speed up, really, really easy. And if you've got the foot involved too, again, dead easy to speed up. So that's the advice on that. Let's keep looking. Once you're into the main body of the song, you sound really good, like everything's nice and in time. Once you kind of stabilise it again after those fills. So that's what that seems like, that's the main focus for you, I think. But yeah, really good job on this. This is, considering how long you've been playing, really good job. All right, we're on the last video. And we've got Mithila, excuse me if I pronounced that wrong, Mithila, from India, and they've been playing 8 to 10 years. Crikey, that's a long time. Drum fills, speed, hand-foot coordination for tougher grooves and fills. Okay, that's what you'd like help with. Let's see where we're at. Y'all have got to stop with the copyrighted music. Lord, we should have specified. I apologise. So what they're playing here is Chop Suey, which is a great tune. And what I would say in terms of advice, because you're getting everything note for note and in time and perfect, which is fantastic. But I think the changeover for you now will be getting the dynamics. So this is a common thing, especially people who play at home or they can't play very loud because people shout at them, that kind of thing. The thing that will help elevate your playing is committing and playing the volume that the song requires. It's kind of more about playing stylistically appropriately. That's a word I keep using on this channel quite a lot because it's very important. So what does the song require? What's the other drummer in the song actually doing? Because he is absolutely caning it at the beginning. So try and do the same thing. You may then notice that your technique goes a little bit out the window or your timing goes out the window, and that therefore highlights something to work on. So keep at it, play a bit louder, add that rock and roll attitude because that's what this song really needs. You're playing everything perfectly right, so that's the next step for you, I'd say. And in terms of what you want to do next, it seems that you just want to develop a bit of everything, which I completely agree with. You seem to be at that kind of step where you just need to take things a bit more difficult, really. And again, I always recommend to people working on dynamics, especially ghost notes and accents, one after the other in grooves and stuff like that. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, using a 16th note metronome will help tighten up absolutely everything that you do. So whatever you do practice, make sure that you're using at least a metronome with that. But if you want to get more minute, use a 16th note metronome. So that's my cliff notes of the advice I'd give on that. Thank you so much, guys, for all the videos you've submitted. There are many, many more, so I will be continuing to go through, and if you would like me to give you advice on your own playing, then feel free to submit your video down below. And I will see when I get to it, because there are an awful lot of you. But yes, I hope that advice has helped. I hope you have a lovely day. Biggest of love. Mwah.